The sun was low on the horizon, casting long golden shadows across the wild landscape of planet Zariah 7. Ethan adjusted his helmet visor and wiped sweat from his brow. He had been exploring this remote world for weeks, cataloging strange plants and surveying potential colony sites. The planet was beautiful, but it was also dangerous. Thorny vines could tear through his suit if he wasn't careful, and alien predators prowled the forests at night. He paused to take a sample of a glowing flower that pulsed with light. Its soft glow was mesmerizing, but he reminded himself of the mission. Every sample he collected could help humans understand this strange new world. He carefully put the flower into his container and continued walking along the rocky path. Suddenly, a sharp, painful cry pierced the quiet. Ethan froze. It sounded like a creature in distress, one unlike any he had encountered before. He scanned the area with his visor sensors. There, near a thicket of thorny bushes, was a creature caught in a trap. It was unlike any animal Ethan had ever seen. About the size of a large dog, it had sleek silver fur that shimmered under the sunlight. Its eyes were large, intelligent, and deep blue, almost human-like. Its paws were delicate, but one was pierced by a thin, barbed arrow, and its breathing was shallow. Ethan's heart raced. He had learned quickly on Zariah 7 that rushing in without caution could be fatal. He crouched behind a rock and observed. The creature, whatever it was struggling to free itself, but the more it moved, the more the arrow sank into its paw. Its tail twitched nervously, and a low, pained growl escaped its throat. "Easy, easy," Ethan whispered softly to himself. "I'm not going to hurt you." He slowly reached for his first aid kit, keeping his other hand visible so the creature could see he was not a threat. The creature's ears flicked back, and it let out a warning hiss, but it didn't run. Ethan took a deep breath and began moving closer. "Stay calm," he muttered. "I just want to help you." The creature's eyes followed his movements. Ethan carefully cut the vines that had trapped it. Each movement was slow and deliberate, giving the creature time to see he was not an enemy. When he reached the arrow, he winced. It was poisoned, the tip was dark, almost black, and a faint green mist rose from it. He had seen this type of poison before. Left untreated, it could kill within hours. "Okay, we need to be careful," Ethan said aloud. He disinfected his tools and gently held the creature's paw. The creature flinched and pulled back slightly, but Ethan's calm tone and steady hands reassured it. "Almost there," he whispered. Slowly, carefully, he removed the arrow. The creature yelped softly, but it did not attack him. Ethan applied an antidote he had prepared for emergencies, pressing gently on the wound to stop the bleeding. When he finished, the creature licked its paw cautiously and then looked at him. Its large blue eyes held a mixture of fear, gratitude, and curiosity. Ethan smiled beneath his helmet. "There, you're safe now," he said. The creature, which he now noticed had small feather-like markings along its back, sniffed the air and then nudged his hand with its head. Ethan laughed softly. "You're not as unfriendly as you look, huh?" For a moment, they just stared at each other. Ethan felt a strange connection, as if the creature understood him in a way no other alien life he had encountered had. It tilted its head and let out a soft, melodic chirp. Ethan knelt and removed his gloves, showing open hands. The creature sniffed them carefully, then stepped closer. It didn't attack. Instead, it gently brushed against his arm. Ethan realized that this was a highly intelligent creature, one that could trust humans if treated with care. "I guess I should give you a name," Ethan said, smiling. "Lyra, you look like a Lyra. How does that sound?" Lyra tilted her head again as if considering the suggestion, then let out a soft sound that almost sounded like a laugh. Ethan chuckled. "All right, Lyra. Let's get you out of here." He carefully helped Lyra to her feet. Her paw was still sore and she limped slightly, but she followed him obediently. Ethan kept a hand near her shoulder, ready to guide her if needed. The path back to his camp was tricky, rocks, thorns, and sudden drops, but Lyra navigated it with surprising grace. She was fast, agile, and clearly intelligent. Along the way, Ethan noticed her observing him closely. Whenever he moved to avoid a branch or adjust his pack, she mirrored his actions almost perfectly. It was as if she was learning from him. A smile spread across Ethan's face. Humans had a reputation for courage, curiosity, and adaptability, and now he saw that even an alien creature recognized and respected that. By the time they reached a small clearing near a freshwater stream, Lyra's paw was beginning to heal. She drank cautiously, then turned to look at Ethan, almost as if checking that he was okay too. He set up a small temporary shelter with some of his equipment and rations. "You'll need food, of course," he said, handing her a specially prepared nutrient pack. She sniffed it, then ate carefully. Ethan watched, fascinated by her behavior. She wasn't just an animal. She was intelligent, aware, and capable of trust and loyalty. As night fell, the two sat near a small fire Ethan had made. The stars above Zariah 7 were brighter than any he had seen from Earth. He felt a sense of wonder and a sense of responsibility. Lyra had trusted him with her life, and he would not fail her. Lyra curled up near him, her body tense but her eyes watching him closely. Ethan could feel her warmth, and he realized that she had already begun to bond with him. Humans had a unique quality, the ability to inspire trust and loyalty, even in creatures from entirely different worlds. He smiled softly. "You saved my paw, Ethan," he said softly. "I promise I won't let anything happen to you either." Lyra gave a soft chirp, almost as if responding. The bond between them was forming fast, stronger than Ethan had anticipated. He felt that together they could face anything this wild planet threw at them. Hours passed. Ethan watched the stars while Lyra slept. He thought about how humans could make a difference not just through strength or technology, but through courage, kindness, and compassion. It was a lesson he had seen repeatedly on different worlds. Humans were capable of inspiring loyalty, trust, and friendship, even among alien species that had never before interacted with them. He drifted to sleep, keeping one eye on Lyra, ready to protect her if needed. The first part of their adventure was over, but Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Tomorrow, they would face new challenges, wild predators, unpredictable weather, and perhaps other humans who might not understand Lyra's intelligence. But for now there was peace. A human and an alien united by trust, courage, and a simple act of compassion. And somewhere deep in her blue eyes, Lyra seemed to understand one thing very clearly. Helping humans could be worth it, and trusting them could lead to a bond that neither of them would ever regret. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the horizon, spilling golden light across the alien landscape. Ethan awoke to the sound of soft, rhythmic breathing beside him. Lyra was lying near the fire, her silver fur catching the light, making her look almost magical. Her paw had healed enough that she could walk normally, though she still favored it slightly. Ethan stretched and rubbed his eyes. "Morning, Lyra," he said softly. She tilted her head and let out a soft chirp, her version of a greeting. He smiled, realizing that communication between them was already developing. Words weren't always necessary. He packed their camp quickly. Today he wanted to explore a nearby valley that his sensors had indicated might have useful resources for the human colony. He glanced at Lyra. "Ready?" he asked. She responded with a soft nod of her head, stepping close to his side. The journey was not easy. The valley was full of jagged rocks, thorny plants, and rushing streams. Ethan had learned to rely on Lyra's instincts. Several times she stopped suddenly, sensing danger he couldn't detect. Once a patch of ground gave way under him, revealing a hidden pit full of sharp spikes. Lyra yipped and pulled him back just in time. "Good girl," Ethan said, patting her side. She chirped happily, her tail wagging lightly. It was clear that she understood praise and approval. More than that, she seemed to enjoy being near him, not just because he had saved her, but because he had shown patience and care. As they walked deeper into the valley, Ethan noticed unusual markings on the rocks, strange symbols that seemed almost like a language. He took samples and photographs, thinking that the local alien civilization might have left them. Lyra walked beside him, occasionally touching the markings with her paw as if sensing something he could not. "Lyra, what do you know about these?" he asked, but she just looked at him and chirped softly. Ethan laughed. "Not much, huh? Well, we'll figure it out together." Suddenly the ground shook slightly. Ethan froze. Lyra's ears twitched and she crouched low, ready to spring. From the shadows of the valley emerged a pack of alien predators. They were large, with sleek black scales and glowing red eyes. Their claws were sharp and they moved with dangerous speed. Ethan's heart raced. He could fight them, but he was outnumbered. That's when Lyra sprang into action. With a loud, commanding chirp, she leaped forward and growled, her body low to the ground. She moved with incredible agility, dodging the predators' attacks and striking at their legs with precision. Ethan realized that Lyra's species had skills humans could never match. Her strength, speed, and intelligence combined in a way that made her a formidable ally. But he couldn't just watch. He picked up a sturdy branch and swung it at one of the approaching predators. It hissed and retreated, but the pack still circled them. "Lyra, we need a plan," he shouted. She barked sharply, then darted toward a narrow canyon opening. Ethan understood immediately. She wanted him to follow her. Together they sprinted toward the canyon, the predators close behind. Ethan's legs burned, but Lyra kept glancing back, making sure he was still with her. When they reached the canyon, Lyra ran up a steep ledge with ease. Ethan struggled, but he finally made it. The predators couldn't follow. The ledge was too narrow and unstable. Ethan leaned against the rock, gasping for air. "Thanks, Lyra," he said, breathing heavily. She nudged his shoulder gently as if to say, "You're welcome." Ethan laughed. "I guess we make a pretty good team." They continued through the valley, cautious but determined. Lyra began to show more of her abilities. She could detect hidden dangers, find safe paths through treacherous terrain, and even locate edible plants that Ethan's sensors missed. Every time she helped him, Ethan felt a deeper respect and admiration for her. By mid-afternoon, they reached a small, clear stream. Ethan set down his pack and took out some water filters to purify the alien water. Lyra watched closely, then drank from the stream, careful and polite. Ethan smiled. He had seen animals that were intelligent, yes, but Lyra's behavior showed something beyond instinct. She seemed to understand teamwork, loyalty, and even kindness. "You know," Ethan said, speaking aloud more to himself than to her, "humans have always survived because of compassion and courage. I think you understand that too, Lyra." She looked at him, her eyes reflecting the sunlight. It was as if she understood every word. As the day passed, they explored more of the valley. Ethan collected samples, made notes, and mapped the area. Lyra stayed close, occasionally pointing out hidden dangers or interesting plants with gentle nudges. She even began imitating some of his gestures, like when he crouched to examine something or held out a sample for study. Ethan realized that she wasn't just helping him for survival. She was curious, learning, and beginning to trust him completely. In her own way, she was offering herself as a companion and ally. It was a bond he had never expected to form on this dangerous planet, but it was one he valued more than any discovery. As evening fell, dark clouds gathered overhead. A sudden storm approached with strong winds and heavy rain. Ethan quickly set up a temporary shelter using his equipment and some nearby rocks. Lyra stayed close, her body pressed near his for warmth and protection. The storm raged through the night, but Ethan felt a sense of calm. Lyra's presence was reassuring. He spoke softly to her, telling stories of Earth, of human colonies, and of adventures he had experienced. Lyra listened, tilting her head, her large blue eyes reflecting the flickering light of the small fire he managed to keep alive. By the time the storm subsided, Ethan felt an even stronger connection to Lyra. She was more than just an intelligent alien creature. She was a friend, a partner, and a protector. And he realized something important. Humans were special not because of strength or weapons, but because of their ability to inspire loyalty and trust across species. When morning came, Ethan and Lyra emerged from the shelter. The valley was transformed by the rain. Plants glistened with dew and small streams crisscrossed the rocks. Lyra sniffed the air and moved confidently through the terrain, guiding Ethan safely. They encountered more dangers that day: hidden pits, poisonous plants, and a few smaller predators. Each time, Lyra's quick thinking and keen senses saved them both. Ethan was amazed at her intelligence, but he also knew that her loyalty had been earned through his compassion. As the sun began to set, they reached a plateau overlooking the valley. The view was breathtaking. Rolling hills, sparkling streams, and alien forests stretched as far as the eye could see. Ethan sat down, exhausted but exhilarated. Lyra curled up beside him, resting her head on his lap. "You know," he said softly, "you saved my life just as much as I saved yours. We make a good team, don't we?" She chirped softly in agreement. Ethan looked out over the valley, thinking about the days ahead. He knew the world was full of dangers, but he also knew that with Lyra by his side, he could face anything. The bond they shared was growing stronger with every challenge, and somewhere deep inside, Ethan felt a quiet hope. Humans had always survived because of their courage, ingenuity, and compassion. Now on this distant planet, he had found a companion who recognized those qualities. Together they could explore, survive, and thrive. As night fell, Ethan and Lyra settled near a small fire. The stars above Zariah 7 sparkled like diamonds, and the alien moon cast a soft silver light over the valley. Ethan patted Lyra gently, feeling a sense of peace. "Tomorrow we'll explore more," he said softly. "But for now, rest. You've earned it." She closed her eyes, letting out a contented sigh. For the first time in weeks, Ethan felt completely at ease. He realized that the greatest discoveries were not just plants, minerals, or maps. The greatest discovery was trust, loyalty, and friendship, even between a human and an alien from a world so different from his own. And in that quiet valley, under the alien stars, Ethan knew one thing for certain. He and Lyra had formed a bond that would never be broken. The morning sun rose over Zariah 7, casting long shadows across the valley. Ethan stirred, stretching his arms and glancing at Lyra, who was already alert and watching the horizon. She had become more confident since he had saved her paw, and her intelligence was evident in every movement. "Ready for another day?" Ethan asked, tying his boots. Lyra chirped softly, nudging his hand as if answering. He smiled. Their bond had grown stronger in just a few days, and he knew they relied on each other in ways no words could describe. Today, Ethan wanted to explore a dense forest at the edge of the valley. Sensors had detected unusual energy readings there, possibly a sign of rare minerals or alien life forms. But the forest was known to be dangerous. Many explorers had reported sudden predator attacks and poisonous plants. As they entered the forest, Ethan moved carefully. The trees were tall and thick, their leaves shimmering in strange colors under the alien sunlight. Strange sounds echoed around them, chirps, growls, and the rustling of unseen creatures. Lyra walked beside him, her ears twitching at every sound. After a few hours, they reached a clearing. Ethan knelt to collect a sample of a glowing plant when a sudden roar split the air. He froze. From the shadows, a pack of alien predators emerged. They were larger than the ones in the valley, with sharp claws, glowing eyes, and jagged scales covering their bodies. Ethan's heart pounded. The pack circled them, growling and hissing. He knew he could not outrun them. His only chance was to rely on Lyra. Lyra stepped forward, her body low and tense. She let out a loud, commanding roar, showing her teeth. The predators hesitated, taken aback by her confidence. Ethan realized that Lyra was not just strong, she was smart. She understood strategy and intimidation. "Good girl," Ethan whispered, picking up a sturdy branch as a weapon. He glanced at Lyra, who nodded as if saying, "I've got this." Together, they could face the pack. The predators lunged, and Lyra moved with incredible speed. She dodged their attacks, striking at their legs and distracting them. Ethan swung his branch when one predator came too close, but it was Lyra's precise movements that gave him the chance to act. They moved in perfect coordination, a human and an alien, fighting as one. Despite their efforts, one predator managed to get close to Ethan. He stumbled backward, but Lyra leaped in front of him, claws extended. The predator snarled and retreated, surprised by her courage. Ethan caught his breath and realized something important. Humans' courage and compassion could inspire loyalty, even in the most intelligent and wild creatures. The battle continued, but Ethan and Lyra slowly drove the pack back toward the edge of the forest. Lyra's instincts were flawless, and Ethan's quick thinking complemented her actions. They worked as a team, covering each other's weaknesses and exploiting the predators' mistakes. Finally, the predators retreated, disappearing into the shadows. Ethan sank to the ground, exhausted but alive. Lyra sat beside him, panting lightly but uninjured. Ethan reached out and patted her head. "You saved me again," he said softly. "I don't think I could have done it without you." Lyra chirped softly, leaning against his arm. They rested for a few minutes, catching their breath and scanning the area for any remaining threats. Ethan realized that survival on Zariah 7 was not just about strength or weapons. It was about intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to inspire trust and loyalty. Lyra had shown all of these qualities, and he felt proud to be her companion. After the encounter, they continued deeper into the forest, though with more caution. Ethan relied heavily on Lyra's instincts. She led him through hidden paths, avoided dangerous plants, and even discovered small water sources that his sensors had missed. It was clear that she was not just following him, she was guiding him. By late afternoon, they reached a small clearing with strange, crystalline formations scattered across the ground. Ethan knelt to examine them. The crystals pulsed with a faint blue light, and he carefully took samples. Lyra sniffed the air and tapped the ground gently, alerting him to a hidden pit nearby. "You're amazing," Ethan said. "I don't know how I ever explored this planet without you." She chirped softly, her tail wagging. Ethan realized that her gestures were becoming more intentional, more thoughtful. She was offering her skills, her loyalty, and her companionship freely. As they explored, Ethan noticed signs of a rival human faction. Traps, footprints, and discarded equipment suggested that other humans were hunting or exploiting the local wildlife. Ethan frowned. "We'll have to be careful," he said. "Not everyone sees the value of life the way we do." Lyra seemed to understand. She stayed close, moving silently and keeping watch. Ethan realized that she was not just helping him survive, she was protecting him. The roles had reversed from the first day they met. Now she was offering herself as a guardian and partner, ensuring that he would never regret saving her. Evening approached, and they needed shelter. Ethan set up a small temporary camp, using rocks and branches to create a safe space. Lyra curled up beside him, resting her head on his lap. The bond between them was undeniable. They had survived predators, navigated dangerous terrain, and faced human interference, all because they trusted each other. Ethan thought about how humans had always survived difficult situations through courage, ingenuity, and compassion. Now he was seeing it in action. Lyra was intelligent and capable, but she had chosen to trust him. That trust was the most powerful tool they had. As night fell, the forest came alive with strange sounds. Ethan and Lyra remained alert, but the danger seemed distant. Ethan spoke softly, sharing stories of Earth, of human adventures, and of the colonies they were trying to build. Lyra listened attentively, occasionally chirping or nudging him as if responding. Hours passed, and Ethan realized that he had never felt such a strong connection with any creature before. Lyra was more than an intelligent alien. She was a companion, a protector, and a friend. She had chosen to offer herself freely, not out of fear or obligation, but out of loyalty and trust. In the middle of the night, Ethan awoke to a rustling sound. He reached for his equipment, ready to face whatever danger approached. Lyra was already alert, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She sniffed the air, then gave a low, warning growl. Ethan followed her gaze and saw a group of small predators approaching. Without hesitation, Lyra sprang into action. She moved with precision and speed, driving the predators away before they could reach Ethan. He watched in awe, realizing that her intelligence and loyalty were beyond anything he had encountered in alien life before. When the threat was gone, Ethan patted her head. "You're incredible, Lyra. I've never met anyone like you." She chirped softly in response, curling up beside him once more. As the night wore on, Ethan reflected on the events of the day. They had faced life-or-death challenges and survived because of their trust in each other. He realized that humans' compassion and courage could inspire loyalty even in alien species. And in return, Lyra had shown that intelligence, instinct, and loyalty could protect and guide humans in ways technology never could. By dawn, the forest was quiet again. Ethan and Lyra prepared to continue their journey, knowing that greater challenges awaited. But for the first time, he felt a deep sense of confidence. With Lyra by his side, he could face anything, and somewhere in her soft blue eyes, Lyra seemed to promise the same, that she would ensure he never regretted saving her, offering her skills, loyalty, and companionship freely, no matter what dangers lay ahead. Together they moved forward into the unknown, a human and an alien united by courage, trust, and a bond stronger than any threat. The morning sun broke through the mist of Zoriah 7, casting silver rays over the rocky terrain. Ethan and Lyra had traveled far since their last encounter with the alien predators. The bond between them had grown stronger with each challenge. Lyra moved confidently at his side, scanning the area with alert eyes, while Ethan adjusted his equipment, ready for any danger. "Looks like we're getting close to the energy readings," Ethan said, checking his handheld scanner. The readings were strong now, pointing toward a valley surrounded by steep cliffs. He frowned. This could be dangerous. Steep cliffs, unstable rocks, and we don't know what else might be waiting for us. Lyra chirped softly, nudging his arm. Her blue eyes met his, reflecting determination. Ethan nodded. I know. But together, we can handle it. As they entered the valley, Ethan noticed signs of the rival human faction that had been hunting the alien creatures. Discarded equipment, makeshift traps, and footprints indicated that the faction was close. Their motives were unclear, but Ethan suspected they wanted to capture or harm Lyra's kind. He tightened his grip on his walking stick and whispered to Lyra, "Stay close. We need to be smart about this." Lyra responded with a low, protective growl. Ethan had learned that her instincts were unmatched and her loyalty was absolute. The valley was narrow, with towering cliffs on either side. The ground was unstable, scattered with loose rocks and hidden crevices. Ethan carefully tested each step before moving forward. Lyra followed, scanning the terrain for him, occasionally tapping the ground with her paw to signal danger. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the valley, a metallic clang followed by a human voice shouting orders. Ethan froze. He peered through a cluster of rocks and saw a group of humans moving cautiously along the cliffs, armed with advanced energy weapons. Their goal was clear. They had spotted Lyra. Ethan's mind raced. He could not allow them to capture her. He quickly scanned the area and noticed a narrow canyon branching off to the left. "This way," he whispered, signaling Lyra. She chirped in understanding and led him through the hidden path. Moving swiftly and silently, the rival humans followed, unaware that Ethan and Lyra were ahead of them. The canyon was tight, forcing them to move in single file. Ethan realized this could work to their advantage. "We can set a trap," he whispered to Lyra. She tilted her head as if understanding perfectly. Ethan quickly gathered loose rocks and small branches. Lyra assisted by nudging and arranging them with surprising intelligence. Together they created a simple but effective obstacle, a loose rock slide positioned to block the narrow path once triggered. The rival humans approached, their voices echoing in the canyon. Ethan's heart pounded. "Now, Lyra," he whispered. She lunged at the right moment, startling the humans. They froze, and Ethan kicked a rock, triggering the slide. The rocks tumbled down, creating a wall that blocked the humans' path. "Good job," Ethan whispered, relief washing over him. Lyra chirped proudly, as if acknowledging their teamwork. They moved quickly past the blocked path, deeper into the canyon. Ethan's scanner led them to a small cave glowing with strange energy. The source of the readings was here, an alien crystal formation pulsing with soft blue light. Ethan carefully examined the crystals, noting their energy patterns. They were unlike anything he had ever encountered. Lyra approached the crystals cautiously, sniffing and tapping the edges. Her instincts told her the crystals were safe, but she stayed alert. Ethan smiled. "You're amazing, Lyra. I don't know how I would manage this without you." The cave offered a temporary refuge. Ethan and Lyra settled near the crystals, taking a moment to rest. Ethan prepared a small meal, sharing some rations with Lyra. She accepted them politely, her tail wagging lightly in gratitude. As they rested, Ethan reflected on the day's events. Humans had survived and thrived because of courage, intelligence, and compassion. But here on Zorya 7, he realized that survival also depended on trust and teamwork, especially across species. Lyra had proven herself not just capable, but invaluable. She had saved him more than once, using her intelligence and instincts to guide and protect him. Suddenly, a faint vibration ran through the ground. Ethan tensed. "Lyra, stay close." The vibration grew stronger, accompanied by low mechanical hums. The rival humans had not given up. They were finding another way into the canyon. Lyra growled softly, moving in front of Ethan to shield him. Her protective instincts were clear, and Ethan felt a deep sense of gratitude. He knew that her loyalty was a gift he had earned through his compassion and courage. The humans appeared at the edge of the cave, weapons raised. Ethan's mind raced. He couldn't fight them directly, they had better firepower. But he could outsmart them using his knowledge of the terrain and Lyra's abilities. "Lyra," he whispered, "we need to move. Follow my lead and trust me." She chirped softly in agreement. Together they sprinted deeper into the cave, moving silently past sharp rock formations. Ethan noticed a narrow tunnel leading upward. This could work, he thought. It's risky, but it might give us the advantage. They climbed the tunnel, Lyra leading the way with ease. Ethan struggled at first, but her presence gave him confidence. They emerged on a high ledge overlooking the rival humans who were struggling to follow. Ethan realized they now had the upper hand. He quickly gathered loose stones and tossed them down the slope, causing small rock slides that forced the humans to retreat. Lyra assisted by hissing and showing her teeth, intimidating the intruders. The humans finally realized they were outmatched and withdrew, disappearing into the forest. Ethan exhaled, relief flooding him. "We did it, Lyra. We're safe, for now." She chirped softly, nudging his arm in reassurance. As they rested on the ledge, Ethan admired the view. The valley stretched out below, bathed in the soft glow of the alien moon. He realized that humans' intelligence and compassion had inspired not only Lyra's loyalty but also their ability to survive and thrive in this harsh environment. Lyra curled up beside him, resting her head on his lap. Ethan patted her gently, feeling a profound sense of connection. "You've ensured I never regret saving you," he whispered. She chirped in response, her eyes reflecting trust and understanding. They spent the night on the ledge, alert but safe. Ethan thought about the future. The rival faction would likely return and the planet was still full of unknown dangers. But he also knew something important. Humans had a unique ability to inspire trust and loyalty, even in alien species. And Lyra had proven that intelligence and instinct, when combined with loyalty, could protect humans in ways technology never could. By dawn, they prepared to continue their journey. Ethan checked his equipment and packed his supplies while Lyra stretched and tested her healed paw. The bond between them was stronger than ever, built on trust, loyalty, and shared survival. As they moved forward, Ethan reflected on the lessons of the past days. Survival on Zariah 7 was not just about strength or weapons, it was about courage, intelligence, and compassion. Humans had these qualities in abundance, and now he had seen them inspire loyalty and trust in Lyra, an alien creature from a world completely different from his own. Lyra led the way through the rocky terrain, her movements confident and precise. Ethan followed, relying on her instincts and intelligence. Together they navigated dangerous cliffs, hidden pits, and treacherous paths. Every challenge they faced strengthened their bond, proving that humans and aliens could work together as equals. As they reached the edge of the valley, Ethan looked at Lyra. "We've survived a lot together, haven't we?" She chirped softly in agreement, her eyes shining. He smiled, "And this is only the beginning. There's so much more to explore, and I know we can face it. Together." Lyra nudged him gently, as if promising to always stay by his side. Ethan realized that she was offering herself freely, not out of fear or obligation, but out of loyalty and trust. It was a gift that he valued more than any discovery, more than any resource or technology. Together they moved forward, ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Humans had always survived because of courage, intelligence, and compassion. Now, on Zariah 7, Ethan had learned that humans' ability to inspire loyalty and trust could create bonds that were stronger than any weapon, faster than any predator, and more valuable than any treasure. And somewhere deep in Lyra's soft blue eyes, Ethan saw a promise. She would ensure he never regretted saving her, offering her loyalty, intelligence, and companionship freely, no matter what dangers awaited them. The journey was far from over. But Ethan knew one thing for certain. With Lyra by his side, they could face anything. The morning sun rose gently over the horizon, painting Zariah 7 in soft gold and silver hues. Ethan and Lyra stood at the edge of a vast plateau, looking down at the sprawling alien landscape below. Valleys, forests, and rivers stretched for miles, glowing faintly under the alien sunlight. The journey that had begun with a simple act of compassion, removing a poisoned arrow from Lyra's paw, had transformed into a partnership neither of them could have imagined. Ethan took a deep breath, letting the crisp air fill his lungs. "We've come a long way, Lyra," he said softly. She chirped in response, nudging his arm gently. He smiled, realizing that she had grown not just physically stronger but mentally sharper as well. Her intelligence and instincts had become essential to their survival. Their recent encounters with predators and the rival human faction had strengthened their bond. Lyra had demonstrated loyalty, courage, and resourcefulness, while Ethan had relied on human ingenuity, compassion, and adaptability. Together they had become a team, one that could face any challenge the wild planet might throw at them. Ethan studied the plateau. A narrow path led down into a valley that seemed to shimmer with unusual energy. Sensors indicated rare mineral deposits, possibly valuable for the human colony, but more importantly, the valley appeared to be a haven for Lyra's species. Ethan thought about all the dangers they had faced, the alien predators, treacherous terrain, and humans who sought to exploit life on Zariah 7. He knew that their journey was far from over, but he felt confident that together, they could overcome anything. Lyra stepped forward first, sniffing the air and listening to distant sounds. She had grown more intuitive with each day, reading the environment with incredible precision. Ethan followed closely, aware that her instincts were a guide he could trust completely. As they descended into the valley, they discovered signs of other creatures of Lyra's kind, tracks in the soil, small nests hidden in the underbrush, and faint calls that echoed across the valley. Lyra's eyes sparkled with recognition and excitement. She chirped loudly, and Ethan realized she was trying to communicate something. Perhaps she was introducing him to her world. Suddenly, movement caught their attention. A small group of Lyra's species emerged from the forest, cautious but curious. They paused, studying Ethan. Lyra stepped forward, standing between him and the group. The creatures chirped softly and moved closer, encouraged by her presence. Ethan knelt slowly, keeping his hands visible. "I mean no harm," he said calmly. The creatures tilted their heads, their eyes reflecting intelligence and curiosity. Ethan realized that Lyra had effectively vouched for him. His compassion and care had earned their trust, just as it had earned Lyra's loyalty. The group approached, and Ethan observed their behavior closely. They were intelligent, coordinated, and capable of understanding complex signals. This confirmed what he had suspected. Lyra's species possessed remarkable cognitive abilities. Humans' courage, ingenuity, and empathy had inspired trust even among these alien beings. Over the next few days, Ethan and Lyra explored the valley, documenting its resources and mapping safe paths. Lyra guided him with precision, demonstrating an uncanny understanding of the terrain and the creatures that inhabited it. Together, they discovered rare plants that could provide food, minerals that could aid colonization, and hidden springs that ensured fresh water. Ethan was impressed. Lyra's intelligence and instincts had not only saved their lives, but had also revealed secrets of the planet that his technology alone could not detect. He marveled at the fact that humans' ability to inspire trust had created an alliance that was both practical and profound. One evening, as they rested near a crystalline river, Ethan reflected on their journey. He thought about the poisoned arrow that had started it all. If he had not acted with compassion, Lyra might have died. But by helping her, he had gained a partner who ensured he never regretted his actions. Lyra had offered herself willingly, not out of fear but out of loyalty, intelligence, and trust. Lyra curled up beside him, resting her head on his lap. Ethan reached down and gently stroked her silver fur. "You've changed everything," he whispered. "You've shown me that humans' greatest strength isn't just technology or weapons. It's compassion, courage, and the ability to inspire loyalty." She chirped softly, her eyes reflecting understanding. Suddenly, a faint hum filled the valley. Ethan's sensors picked up movement. Another group of humans, possibly from the rival faction, approaching. They were armed and cautious, scanning the valley for signs of Lyra's species. Ethan tensed. He knew he had to act quickly to protect Lyra and her kind. Lyra stood alert and ready. Ethan whispered, "We can do this together. Trust me, Lyra." She chirped, confirming her readiness. Ethan devised a plan. Using the terrain to their advantage, they created a series of distractions, rocks, branches, and even the glowing crystals, to mislead the humans. Lyra guided Ethan through hidden paths and signaled when danger approached. Together, they lured the humans into traps and dead ends, ensuring they could not reach Lyra's group. The humans eventually retreated, frustrated and exhausted. Ethan exhaled, relief flooding through him. Lyra chirped proudly, nudging him in affirmation. Their teamwork had succeeded once again. In the days that followed, Ethan continued documenting the valley and its inhabitants. The Lyra species grew more comfortable with him, recognizing his care and intentions. They allowed him closer access to their nests, shared their hidden resources, and even followed his lead in exploring safer areas. Ethan realized that their bond was more than just survival. It was a mutual respect. Humans' ability to inspire trust had created allies, not just in Lyra, but in her entire species. And in return, Lyra's intelligence, loyalty, and instincts had ensured his survival in ways no human could have achieved alone. One evening, as the twin moons of Zoria 7 rose over the valley, Ethan and Lyra sat together on a cliff, overlooking the land they had helped protect. Ethan spoke softly. "We've done something incredible here. Lyra, we've shown that humans' courage and compassion can create bonds that transcend worlds." She chirped softly, her head resting against his shoulder. He thought about the journey, from the poisoned arrow to their first fight with predators, to outsmarting rival humans, and finally, to earning the trust of Lyra's species. Each challenge had reinforced the same lesson. Humans' greatest strength was not just survival, but the ability to inspire loyalty, trust, and friendship. Lyra nudged him gently, and Ethan smiled. She had ensured that he never regretted saving her. In fact, she had offered herself willingly, becoming a partner, protector, and friend. Her loyalty was a gift, one that highlighted the very best of what humans could achieve: compassion, courage, and understanding. Ethan knew that this bond would last a lifetime. Humans and aliens working together could explore, survive, and thrive in ways that neither could achieve alone. He also realized that the future of colonization on Zoria 7 was not just about technology or resources. It was about building trust, understanding, and alliances with the life forms they encountered. As the night deepened, Ethan and Lyra prepared a small camp. The valley was quiet, safe for now. Ethan gazed at the stars above, feeling a sense of accomplishment and wonder. Lyra curled up beside him, her presence a constant reminder of their shared journey. "Tomorrow," Ethan whispered, "we explore further. But tonight we rest together," she chirped softly, as if agreeing. In that moment, Ethan understood something profound. The universe was vast and full of unknown dangers, but humans had the power to create bonds that could overcome any challenge. Lyra had demonstrated that intelligence, loyalty, and courage could cross species boundaries. And he had shown that humans' compassion and courage could inspire trust and friendship, even on a distant alien world. With Lyra by his side, Ethan felt ready for anything. Together they could face predators, rival humans, and the unknown dangers of Zoria 7. But more importantly, they had built a partnership based on respect, trust, and mutual care. The next day would bring new adventures, new discoveries, and new challenges. But Ethan knew one thing for certain: he and Lyra would face them together. The bond they shared was unbreakable, a testament to the power of trust, loyalty, and compassion. As the twin moons bathed the valley in soft silver light, Ethan smiled and patted Lyra gently. "We've come so far, Lyra, and this is only the beginning. There's so much more to discover, and I know we can do it, together," she chirped softly, her eyes reflecting the stars above. Together they watched the horizon, ready to face whatever the universe had in store. Humans had shown courage and compassion. Lyra had shown loyalty and intelligence. And together, they had proven that when humans act with kindness and courage, they can inspire trust and friendship that reaches across worlds. The story of Ethan and Lyra was not just about survival. It was about the power of compassion, courage, and partnership. On Zoria 7, a human and an alien had formed a bond that would never break, a partnership that promised new horizons, new adventures, and a future filled with mutual respect and understanding. And somewhere deep in the valley, Lyra's chirp echoed, a promise that she would always be by his side, ensuring that he never regretted the day he chose to help her.